Hey, welcome to module number 4, and I'm so excited for today's training because I have a lot of value for you, a lot of rich content. So tune in, remove all distractions because today we're going hard. We're going hard on our mindset, and I know we're covering a lot of mindset and identity in week 3. But I thought, why not giving you like the gift of this training before we jump into the bootcamp? To prime ourselves for the best success we can have with the bootcamp and everything we're watching. And this is like removing obstacles, weeding out those self-sabotaging thoughts, working on our identity. And this is the identity I want you to embrace. You are a wealth builder. And this has so many advantages with that identity. And yeah, let's dive into this today. As I said, rich in value, rich in content, and you're gonna see when I share the outline what we're covering today. So we first talk about the power of identity. Who you believe you are shapes what you do. And so many people, they try to change what they do by enforcing discipline on them, and they see themselves struggling. Like, I mean, it's early January 2025, and by February, most people who were thinking they're starting powerful this year is different. They realize they find themselves in old habits. They're gonna quit the gym again. They're gonna quit like the healthy lifestyle, the good diet, the nutrient-dense food. Maybe they skip the budget and say, well, doesn't help anyway. Let's spend money what I want to spend it on. And all those good things we planned for the year are washed away in February. And this is something that happens because most people, when they set goals for the year, they don't work on their identity first to achieve those goals. And this is something very powerful we're covering today in today's training. The second point we're talking about is the Wealth Builder mantra. And this is act now, be unstoppable. And listen, we have our default in our mindset. And when we're not actively thinking about our mindset and how to work with our mindset, our default kicks in. And that's why we very often find ourselves frustrated at certain points and think, why the heck did I do that? Why the heck is that still an issue for me? Like for 10, 20, 30 years. That's because we never weeded out those self-sabotaging thoughts and those like stones. They're like really hardened in our mindset. Because we don't know how. But there are many tools we can use, and I'm teaching you a lot of them in the next couple of weeks. But today we're going to look at them as well. And one thing is affirmation, another thing is visualization, and a very simple way to actually progress is having a mantra, which you talk to yourself over and over and over again. You mumble to yourself this mantra during the day. You're actively talking to yourself, maybe in front of a mirror, repeating that mantra, and it becomes part of your DNA. It becomes part of your mindset, and you're reprogramming your software up there in a way that your default mode might change. So if you are like catching yourself as a procrastinator, maybe you, like me, when it comes to recording these videos, being a bit of a perfectionist, I have to tell to myself before I'm recording this video, actively, I act now, I'm unstoppable, my content will be produced right now because I'm a man of action. I'm taking action right now. And I know that Mel Robbins, for example, she has like this 5-second rule where you count backwards from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just do it. Because that's actually hardwiring your default mode of having a stop before you want to make the decision. It's like standing on a high elevated place, want to jump into the river or the lake or the ocean, and you see people sometimes they're gonna run towards the edge and then they stop because they think while they walk. And very often our thoughts are in our way for success. So what you can do when you run towards it and it's safe to jump and you are able to swim, then you actually, instead of thinking, you just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and you release and you jump. This is hardwiring our brain, and we can adopt this principle into all our lives, and this is super important and super cool. So Wealth Builder mantra, second point. Third point, frameworks for transformation. I'm going to teach you 2 frameworks today, which they're pretty simple, they're pretty straightforward, and you can adapt and apply them into your self-programming today. And this is something I'm really excited about. It helped me along the way very much, and it will help you and will make a big difference in your life. The next thing is reprogram your mindset through affirmations and visualization. Those are 2 different hacks I want to talk about today. And I also give you 25 Wealth Builder affirmations today, so you can straight away after this class read through them, make them your own. If you want to change them accordingly to your needs, to your goals, feel free to do so. It's a Google Doc, so you can change anything you want in that document. And then you just go and repeat them over and over if you are an affirmation person. If you're a visualization person, we're going to talk about that as well, because either way is fine. And not everything is suited for all of us. So, and the fifth and last point is our Wealth Builder code. And this is how you live in your new identity. And I think this is super powerful because once we have the identity, we actually live through it. And I remember being like on conferences in my past, and like it starts on Friday, you're so pumped up, you're so hyped up. Saturday, it's super powerful, like UPW from Tony Robbins. You do all the jumping and all the excitement. You actually crack one of these boards with your fist, these wooden boards, and you think, I can conquer the world. I am powerful. And then it's Monday, you go back to work, or back to your business, back in your family. All day troubles are hitting you back. Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Thursday you can't wait for Saturday. And on Saturday you jump on the couch, watch something on Netflix, and think, well, last week it was nice, but it's so far away already. Let's go back to our default. And this is the enemy of the best. And I want you to live your best life, to achieve everything you dreamed of since you're a little kid. And I believe that today is a big milestone for that. Watching this training and the Wealth Builder Code is something that shows you how you can actually live out in your new identity. So as always, Wealth Builder CC newsletter, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I will give you updates. I share tips and tricks and hacks. And you want to know what's going on in our community. Also, when new videos are released for the trainings, I will let you know via email. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, you can do so. Share the love, like my comments, like my posts, and comment on my posts if you want so. But if you share something, share this course. I believe this is so powerful. If you know of someone who actually would benefit from the training, share the course with them. WealthBuilders Clubhouse is free of access, so they can just jump in like you did, don't have to pay anything, and just get these videos, these trainings, and doing this journey together with your friends is so much cooler than doing it alone. Warning, this is literally the most important video. I know I said that the last modules as well, because you need to watch all the trainings. But this one is very powerful, so don't skip it, don't fast forward. Yes, you can watch it in double speed or 1.5 speed, but make sure that you get all the concepts I'm teaching today. And if you want to take notes, take notes. I believe this is so powerful, this stuff. This is like dynamite for transformation. Power of identity. So this is the first bullet we're going to talk about today. And the power of identity and who you believe you are shapes your whole life. And this is one of the frameworks I want to teach you today. Is like your mindset actually births your identity. So it starts in your mindset, and you create your identity, and then your identity actually helps you to take action. So if you have like the wrong identity, you take other actions than you might want to take. And your actions actually bring in results. So transformation starts with your thoughts. And when you think like a wealth builder, you adopt the identity and you take action accordingly to a wealth builder. And this automatically brings in the results wealth builders want to have in their life. And identity drives action. And that's something I learned from Tony Robbins. So I'm sharing a lot of insight from Tony Robbins, Vishen Lakhiani today, and other people who are focusing on mindset and positive affirmations for the life for the last 20, 30, 40 years. And this is so powerful. What you believe about yourself determines what you do. And believe you're a wealth builder and you'll act like one. Small shifts bring big change. So start identifying as a wealth builder today. Small shifts in mindset lead to big results. So you can actually apply something straight away after this training or during this training. Let's say our mantra, and you constantly repeat that to yourself. So it's a little small thing to do. I mean, it takes like a couple of seconds to repeat something to yourself 3 times a day. It's a couple of seconds, but over time, it's like drops of water cracking through a stone eventually. And this is so powerful. Once you understand that principle, it also goes back to like the compound effect, where small steps add up to massive change. And this is something I really want you to grasp for this training, because today you get a lot of small things you can apply straight away after this training. And I want you to pick 1, 2, or 3 of them and just make them your own. And this journey is so powerful once you realize that you can proactively reprogram that thing between your ears. It's so powerful. Act and implement to avoid analysis paralysis and feeding the procrastinator within you. You need to act it out. And that's something I have to tell to myself all the time, because as we all know, I'm a perfectionist, especially when it comes to recording stuff like this, or producing anything for social media channels. And I'm like procrastinating my way through it. I find so many excuses not to hit the record button, which is standing in my way. And I have to tell myself that speed of implementation is key. Like I do with investing. There I don't have these blockages. There I just do it. Ask myself, why is that? Why do I act in a certain way in a different situation? And winning dirty is still winning. That's something I learned from Tom Billier. So no one asks you how perfect your first interaction was. As long as you do the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and along the way you will win. And you can't make it perfect from the start. It's not happening. And if you try to be perfect from the start before you do your first investment, you want to have everything sorted out, you will never invest. But if you start investing and you're on the pathway of winning, you're winning dirty, because you're winning like with ups and downs. And that's something very, very powerful. Better done than perfect. Something I learned as well goes into the same idea. And what is it that you can do today? So what is a small, tiny little thing you can do today? I want you to think about that question. And later you get some homework. So maybe one of this stuff I'm giving you as homework is one thing you can do instantly today. And that's a cool thing, talking about an example, because I think illustrating the point makes it helpful. And people don't try to exercise. They say, I am a runner. And something I can personally relate on is I am a drummer. I used to play the drums in a punk rock band. And usually what I was doing, like I was like taking those sticks, I was in front of my drum set, and I was just like doing certain exercises. And after 2 or 3 weeks, it got so boring, because if you want to become a drummer, you actually have to practice the same thing over and over and over again. And it was so hard for me to actually get those exercises done. I had a drumming class with a very good drummer, and I really hated to do my homework. I really hated it. And after 2 or 3 weeks, he caught me not doing my homework. And then after 2 months, he caught me not doing my homework on a regular basis. And he asked me, Manu, why are you not doing your homework? It's so important to progress that you actually implement what I teach you. You can't live off the teaching every week. You need to be constantly on your drums every single day. And then he shared this idea with me that I don't have the identity of a drummer. I didn't adopt this identity into my life. And he said, Manu, you are a drummer. And I was like, no, I'm not good at drumming. Well, Manu, do you have 2 sticks? I said, yeah, I have 2 sticks. Do you have a drum set? Yes, I have a drum set. Do you want to play the drums? Yes, I want to play the drums. So you're a drummer. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are as a drummer. You are a drummer once you hold your sticks have that drum set around you, even if it's not yours, but you're sitting in front of the drum set, you're having your sticks, you are a drummer. Have the identity of a drummer. And then I started to create that identity shift in my mind. I am a drummer. And because I started to adapt the mindset of a drummer, I am a drummer, suddenly I do what drummers do. And what is it that drummers do? They play the drums. They exercise. They are in front of the drums every free second they have during the day. So I came home from work, and I was just like sitting in front of my drum set and just like doing it. I knew I was bad. I knew it sounded like crap for all my neighbors, but I was a drummer, and I had this identity shift happening real life to me. And that was a big game changer for me, because shortly afterwards, I was able to perform at concerts. I was doing songwriting with my friends in the band, and we really had fun doing the music stuff and being on that journey. And I want you to adapt that mindset of I am a wealth builder, because if you adapt that identity of a wealth builder, you do what wealth builders do. And wealth builders consume content to learn, to grow. Wealth builders take action. Wealth builders want to learn through their mistakes. Wealth builders are connected to other people with the same mindset. Wealth builders are actually learning about their market, their niche. Wealth builders are analyzing their assessment, their portfolios, do an assessment on their portfolios, and want to increase their profit margin on their way forward. So wealth builders, they have a specific things they do, and I want you to take on that mantle of a wealth builder and make it your identity. Very, very powerful. So our mantra: act now, be unstoppable. Words create reality, and what you say becomes who you are. The mantra programs you to take bold, consistent action. And do yourself a favor and consciously follow your thoughts whenever you think about your thought process. And if you're like condemning yourself because something bad happened, or you struggle with guilt, or you struggle with anxiety, or anything like of those negative thought patterns, of this negative emotions, think about, or try to get out of yourself and watch yourself why you're thinking what you're thinking. And very often we speak to ourselves. And if our thoughts are negative, filled with negativity, we constantly bombard ourselves with negativity. And one of the classic things a lot of people are bombarding themselves is, you're not good enough. You can't do that. It's too dangerous. It's too risky. It's not for you. It might be for others, but it's not for you. You're too young. You're too old. I mean, if you're watching this class and you're 17, you might think, well, I don't earn that much money. I'm too young to get started. No, you're not. And if you're 60, you watch this training, you think, well, I'm too old. My life is almost over. No, this is a crappy thought, and this is not reality. You can build something. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how skilled you are. It doesn't matter where you live, what your geography is. That's something I learned from Gary Vee, and I think this is super powerful. You're never too old, and your circumstances are never against you, except you choose them to be against you. And that's why this mantra kicks in. I want you to embrace, act now, be unstoppable. And there's this story from a very successful business person, and he shared, like in interviews, a lot of wisdom and gold nuggets. And there was this one lady, and she was like, how actually could you do what you do? How could you achieve what you achieved? And he said, every morning when I went from my apartment to the elevator, I knew I had like 60 seconds in front of that elevator. And I was talking to myself, do it now, 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 do it now. And taking action, being proactive, front-footed, proactive, that became his lifestyle, his DNA. And whenever he saw an opportunity, he was quick to respond. He had speed of implementation like no one else. And that actually helped him to build up an empire, to build an empire of wealth and businesses. So he was very, very successful just because he was acting quickly. And he said, I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most educated. I'm not the richest. But what my one skill is, I am the fastest. And because I'm that fast, I'm ahead of anyone else. And yes, more skilled person, are way behind me because they still think about how to start. And I'm already here doing it, learning my stuff, having skin in the game. So this is something why this mantra is so powerful and important. Say it out loud. This is something to actually, and I mentioned in the example with the guy on the elevator, you need to say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, it's not just in your head. You speak it and your ears will hear it. And that way you speak constantly to yourself. Bless yourself when you talk to yourself. Be positive about yourself when you talk to yourself. You need to love yourself and embrace yourself as much as you love others. Even more. You can't love other people if you hate yourself. It's very hard. And very often I catch myself doing so much for other people, but when I want to actually do something good for me, I hold back. Why is that? Why don't I treat myself with the best I can? And this is something you need to say to yourself, you deserve it because you are worth it. And this is something why you need to say it out loud. I am a wealth builder. I act now. I am unstoppable. And repeat it daily. Maybe pause this video right now and say it to yourself 3 times, and then keep going. Embrace action. Action builds momentum and progress over perfection. And we already talked about this in last module, why it is important that progress matters. And I want you to be on this journey and to see progress. Dive in, get skin in the game. And even if you're like in week 1 and you think, well, I'm not sure about the markets I want to invest in, but I want to try it. Maybe take $100 and give it a go. If you're not familiar with crypto or anything where you have where you can invest with small investments, just give it a go. Educate yourself, of course, up front that you know what you're doing, but that doesn't take too long. Do some research and then get skin in the game. Of course, you can't buy a property with $100. I mean, there are ways to do that, but if you have no clue how to invest in properties, I wouldn't do it. But like with this little playgrounds where you can experiment a bit, or with stock markets, you can invest like in the stock market for $200-300. You can give it a try, give it a go. Do some research and then just dive into it and embrace the experience. And yes, there's a high chance that you will fail in the beginning, but that's okay. That's totally okay. So don't gamble with life savings in the beginning. Be very cautious what kind of money you take and invest. It needs to be money you are comfortable in losing, but you want to have progress in the trainings. Just go through the trainings. Don't wait until everything is perfect around you, that the kids are in bed and your dog has been walked and maybe your partner's already asleep and now you want to watch a training because you need perfect attention for it. No, just watch the training. If you need to watch it again, watch it again. Watch it in double speed so you know what's happening. And if you think, well, that training was actually worth a second watch it again and take notes. And don't make it too complicated. Don't overcomplicate it. Just simplify things and it really helps you. Challenge. Say the mantra 3 times. We covered that already. I think you paused the video. You did it. Good on you. Frameworks for transformation. So I want to teach you 2 frameworks which I believe are super, super powerful. The first is mindset, identity, action, and results. So the way we think is actually impacting who we believe we are. And who we believe we are is actually driving the actions. And the actions are bringing the results. Going back to that example, Manu as a drummer, I had to change my mindset. I had to be willing to adopt the identity of being a drummer. Without my teacher telling me that I need to adopt the identity of a drummer and proactively being willing to reprogram that thing up there, I wouldn't have shifted my identity. Without that identity shift, I wouldn't have started to training that much. And because I was training that much, I was like playing the drums every free second after work and whenever I had time. Sometimes it was that late that my neighbors knocked on the door and said, Manu, it's too loud, because I had an acoustic drum set. I was not a big fan of digital ones, and it was more than 20 years ago where more people played acoustic drums. So it was very loud in the neighborhood. And I understand if he knocks on my door like 11 at night because he wants to sleep and has to get up early. But for me, it was like a no-brainer to exercise my skills, to train my skills. And because I was so diligent in that action, the results were that I could play in a band and we could have so much fun on stage, and we played really cool surf punk, skate punk music. So it was a It was a great time. I always remember that time as something amazing in my life. And that was just because one teacher gave me the hint. I am able to reprogram that thing up there, what we call brain. That's the second framework I want to teach you. And this is so powerful, why our community is so powerful for your journey. It's belonging, then believing, and then behaving. And I believe this is something you need to soak in, because first you belong. So if you belong to our community as wealth builders, this is something, you are part of us, and you're watching this video, so you're already part of our wealth builder tribe. If you're not in our community yet and you're watching this on YouTube, hit the button, jump on in our school community, be part of that. But you are already a wealth builder because you're watching the training, so you're part of our wider family, and you belong here. You belong to us. You are part of us. You are a valued member of us. So this is super important. And because you belong to us, you start believing what we all believe. And we believe we are wealth builders. We believe we can achieve wealth. We believe that wealth is for us. We believe we deserve it. We believe we can change our financial future by small tweaks and actions. We believe we can make it happen. We believe that this is a space of encouragement and positivity. And we believe all these amazing things. And because we believe that, we start behaving in that identity. So this is something very powerful. And you can screenshot that page if you want, or just look at the picture below, because I'm going to give you that in our community, so you can actually download that picture, because I believe it is that powerful. Visualize your shift. So picture the wealth builder you, making confident decisions, achieving success, and inspire other people around you. And that's something that goes into the visualization part. I want to share a little bit about that right now. So if you have the identity of a wealth builder, although you're still a bit like insecure in being a wealth builder, you still don't know, okay, do I do everything right? Remember Manu as a drummer? In the beginning, I was bad as heck. I didn't know how to play the drums. But towards the end, I was really good in playing the drums. And even, doesn't matter what part of the journey you're currently at, you can visualize how, as a wealth builder, you make great decisions. You close your eyes and you just think and picture how you make investments, how you double $500, how you double $1,000. Then at one point, you're driving this amazing car, you're going on great holidays, you're flying business class, maybe private jet, you have this amazing house with a pool, maybe a tennis court, which is quite common here in New Zealand, as I learned, and you visualize the shift that's happening in you. This all helps you to equip you, changing and really getting used to this new identity in you. So reprogramming your mindset, affirmations and visualizations for success. I promised you I give you 25 affirmations. We're going to share this at the end of the slide. So affirmations that build belief. I am worthy of wealth and abundance. I take bold, confident actions every day. I am in control of my financial future. I act now. I am unstoppable. And I know so many people, when it comes to money mindset and thinking about creating wealth, they always struggle with their self-worth, self-value. And very often, and I would say pretty much everyone on this planet has a lack in self-worth and valuing themselves as they are. Because so many people around us are just pulling us down, talking that much negativity towards us. And I mean, I don't know of any kid who didn't know when they were younger, you can't do that, that is not for you. Yeah, dream, keep on dreaming, buddy. Yeah. Oh, you want to be a superstar? Yeah, sure. Give it a try. We will see what's happening. And all this thing is actually manifesting in our mindset and manifesting in our life. And we can actually unlock this, weed it out, and put something else to replace that false belief, this false thinking patterns. And that's why affirmations are so powerful, because we say sentences like that. So instead of saying, well, you're never going to make it, you're destined to be poor, and you can't handle money, or money is evil, money is bad, all this crap people are talking to us. But let's take just one thing. Let's say, yeah, you're not created for wealth, being wealthy. You're like, you have to remain poor. So if you think, well, wealth is not for me, being rich is not for me, the first sentence is something very powerful, because you can take the affirmation, I am worthy of wealth and abundance. And now what you do is not just saying it like, I am worthy of wealth and abundance, and you do this like 3 times. There's no benefit in that. You want to be proactive in working on your mindset. So what you do is you stand up, you have a power pose, like Amy Cuddy is teaching us, like doing the Superman, Wonder Woman power pose. So your posture is actually already embracing the change and the greatness within you. And then you say it as if you mean it. I am worthy of wealth and abundance. And you can do it in front of a mirror and speak to yourself if you want. Some people find it weird. I actually really like it, standing in front of a mirror and telling the good stuff to me, having a conversation with myself, an honest conversation of who I really am. And then you start picturing it. You bring in emotions. How does it feel being worthy of wealth and abundance? How does it feel having all that money on my bank account? How much good stuff would I do with all this money on my bank account? How much impact can I have? How can I help people in my family, in my circle, in my community? Because I am worthy of wealth and abundance. And let me tell you, you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to the people you love, that you change your mindset, that you change your identity, and then you adopt the identity of a wealth builder, because you are worthy of wealth and abundance. And if other people are struggling in life, with their finances and everything, you are watching this video, so you have an advantage. And I want you to actually hook into that statement and believe it. You are worthy of wealth and abundance. You take bold and confident actions every day. You are in control of your financial future, and you act now, and you are unstoppable, my friend. Then the visualization practice is, you close your eyes, you see yourself as a wealth builder, you're confident, free, achievable, you achieve financial success, you feel the emotions of success, pride, freedom, and excitement. It's something you can do every morning when you wake up, still laying in bed, you have your eyes closed, or you close your eyes again. Take yourself 5 minutes and picture yourself, how it feels being confident, being free, having all this financial success. Feel that pride within you, being proud of what you achieved so far. See the freedom happening, that you can travel the world, you can fill your time with the things that give you purpose and you really love doing. The excitement when you actually can give a loved one a very, very expensive present for their birthday, because you can. And this is something where visualization comes in. I know Tony Robbins is a big fan of visualization. And I remember that time when Danielle and I, we were like, for half a year, we were like doing his breathing exercise every morning, where you go out, you do like 5 minutes of breathing, like you're breathing and you're getting all the oxygen in your body. So you wake up, and next thing is you are grateful, because gratefulness opens your heart and makes you believe and lets you see what good things are happening in your life already. So you start being grateful for all the great things. Like, I'm grateful for being alive. I'm grateful for being strong enough to go for a walk. I'm grateful that I'm living where I'm living. I'm grateful for my loved ones. I'm grateful that there's life, the force of life within me. I'm grateful that I have been created to do great things in this world. I'm grateful for the impact I have. So gratefulness is something that really opens up your heart. And the next thing is that you then you start visualization. You start to visualize how you want your tomorrow to be. You take it into your today by thinking about it. And I was like, for half a year, I was visualizing how it would be to be in New Zealand. I was already grateful for the process we kicked off. We had like 8 or 9 moments where we thought it's not going to happen. The obstacles are too big. But because I was visualizing it, I had the power and the endurance to break through those obstacles. And now I sit in New Zealand, close to Hamilton. I'm living the dream I was dreaming a year ago. And that can happen for you as well if you take the tool of affirmation and visualization and gratefulness and make it your own repertoire of tools you're going to use to reprogram what you see, because what you constantly see is what's happening to your life. It becomes a reality. And this is something very powerful. Do this daily, every morning, every evening. Trust me, there's nothing more important than working on what's going on in your brain. This is super powerful. And if you delay it, if you say, well, I do it tomorrow, you never do it, do it now. Do it now. Straight after this video, you have chances enough to start with the affirmation and visualization process, to use the mantra, to go into gratefulness. I believe this is so powerful, and this will change your future. Adopt the Wealth Builder code. So this is the last point we were talking about, live like a wealth builder. This is so powerful because we're in this community, we have specific things we're doing. This is part of our value system. This is part of who we are. And I believe that this is so powerful because it drives us towards success and our goals. And if you struggle with one or two of those, that's okay. In the beginning, remember, belong, believe, behave. So first, you belong to us. You are amongst people who commit to growth, who embrace action, who act with integrity, who inspire others. And because you are amongst those people, you start believing that those are your core values too. And then you behave that way. And believe me, if you commit to growth, your life will never be the same. If you embrace action, you will do what other people are scared of. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and you will do it. And people will think, this person is doing like in a week what I can't do in a year. And I heard it a couple of times in my life because I embraced action very quickly. And this is so amazing what happens, because you literally can do in a short amount of time what other takes years. And on this journey of building wealth, it's so powerful if you are like super agile and you take action instantly. Of course, you use your brain before you take action. You're not just like jumping into a hole, not knowing what's happening. But that's stuff we're covering in the bootcamp as well, because I want to best prep you for that journey. And that's why I created this bootcamp. We act with integrity. We build wealth that aligns to our core values. Having values is so important. I know so many people that just want to be rich for the riches, for feeding themselves, having 20 cars, boasting about how awesome they are. But there's no win in that, because you're still lonely, you're still alone, you're still doing life by yourself. But if you have impact in other people's lives, this is so powerful. I want you to embrace that. And you inspire others. You lead your family and your community by example. Behavior shapes identity, and the more you act like a wealth builder, the more you're part of our community, the more you believe you are one. And this is changing your life completely. This is going full circle. So we choose our habits, and our habits define our life. So small things you can implement today, do them every day, and you will see how your identity will form and will be created. You can proactively build yourself. You can create the tomorrow you want to be tomorrow. So this is really cool stuff. And your action step for today, embody your wealth builder identity today. So first, write down the mantra, I am a wealth builder, I act now, I am unstoppable, and say it out loud 3 times as if you believe it. Do it in front of a mirror if you like, but say it out loud with the emotion, in a power pose, Superman or Wonder Woman, and just go for it. The next thing is share it in the community. Share I am a wealth builder because, and tell us why you are stepping into this identity. Share your wealth builder declaration in the community to inspire others, and others should do the same, because if we all do it, this is so powerful. The next thing is write down your favorite affirmation from today and commit to repeating it daily for the next 7 days. And I created one for you to download. And please make it yours. It's under WealthBuilderCC/affirmations. So download it, make it your own, as I said earlier. So let's have a look at the summary and the key takeaways, that we make sure that we covered everything for today. So it was identity drives results. We talked about that. We talked about the Wealth Builder mantra. We talked about the transformation frameworks. We talked about the daily practice. We did everything. Now for you, something from Tony Robbins: the strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. This is so powerful. And Tony Robbins is like the number one expert when it comes to identity shift, transformation, mindset, empowering, reaching our goals. And this is so true. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. Act now, be unstoppable. Thank you for watching this training.